What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about Fortnite Chapter 6's first major update. As always, if you guys do find this video to be helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of this update. For starters, I think a lot of you are going to be pretty disappointed in this update because from my understanding, it was a pretty large update to download. But a lot of this update was stuff that doesn't really affect Battle Royale, and it doesn't affect Battle Royale right now. There was some Lego modes added, a new 5v5 FPS mode that is going to be coming tomorrow. And then there was stuff for the Winterfest update, which I assume will be coming next week as well. That was also added in today's update. And obviously that Winterfest stuff will affect Battle Royale at some point, but the Winterfest update isn't actually out today. So a lot of the impactful gameplay changes that you would expect from a Fortnite update weren't really for Battle Royale today. There was a new map change. There's an underground section added at Masked Meadows, and this section is pretty cool. It's another one of those areas that has tunnels connecting to it, like a chest loot room. And most notably about this chest loot room is that there is a table here which has both masks on it. It has a fire mask and a void mask on this table 100% of the time. So now Masked Meadows has a reason to be named Masked Meadows because it is a guaranteed mask spawn. So if you are someone who really likes using the fire mask, really likes using the void mask, this might be a POI that you consider landing at more now than you did previously because there's a guaranteed mask spawn here. Personally, I wouldn't choose where I'm going to land based on this. I liked landing at this POI anyways. It was probably my favorite POI on the Chapter 6 map, so I'm happy to have this here. But it's not like I was having an incredibly difficult time finding the void mask typically, but having a guaranteed spawn of it is nice, I guess. So I think a lot of people will like this spot. A lot of people like the little secret underground areas that we've had in Chapter 6, and this is just another one of those. There's a purple fog at the POI now, kind of coming from this underground section. So if you are looking for a way in, all of the tunnels basically lead to here, or you can just look for that purple smoke and then you should be able to find it. Also, the NPC at Masked Meadows that you can duel will now drop a purple hollow twister AR if you duel him. Prior to today's update, he was dropping a gray twister AR for some reason, but that has been fixed, and he now drops a purple AR. Another thing that has been fixed that I think is going to be disappointing to a lot of players is that the tree jump with the katana, or the fact that you could jump off builds with it and kind of get flung decently far, that was patched in today's update and it no longer works. So I'll have a clip of it on screen now, what it looked like, but basically you would just sprint jump under a tree, or you could do this with builds as well. And the way your character got pushed off the tree or pushed off the builds would send you decently far, and it was a nice little way to travel with the katana. That has been patched for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why Fortnite decides to remove and patch things like this. I feel like it wasn't really the biggest deal, but it was useful or nice in certain circumstances. But it has been patched. That also changed things with builds. You used to be able to do this with ramps and stuff as well. It's called EJ dashing. That was removed a long time ago, and then it was back in Chapter 6, and then it was removed in this. It's the same sort of physics thing that made the katana jump work like that is also what caused the EJ dash. But that was also patched in today's update. And then you can now ready up in game again. So with previously in Fortnite, you could choose to ready up in the match you were in and then spectate the person that eliminated you while you're searching for another game. That for some reason was removed with the start of Chapter 6, but it's been fixed and you can now ready up in game again. Personally, I never did this just because I got so used to going back to the lobby because that's how it was initially in Fortnite. And also I have a good PC. It doesn't take long to go back to the lobby. So it's whatever, but I feel like this isn't really that big of a gameplay change one way or the other. But if you were someone who was very upset that you could no longer ready up in game, that was fixed in today's update, so that's good for you. And that's basically the extent of the changes in today's update. It really was not that big of a deal at all. There were some weapon balance changes yesterday. I did already make a video about these changes, but if you haven't seen that video, I'll kind of quickly go over them now. The hollow twister AR got reduced damage by 1 per each rarity, and then it also got increased spread while falling or sprinting, meaning it'll be less accurate if you're hip firing it in those circumstances. I don't think this nerf is a big deal at all. Playing today, the hollow twister AR was still incredible. Everyone was still using it. I was killing people incredibly fast with it. I was getting melted by it. Still very good. The Oni shotgun got buffed in several ways. It now does 10% more damage. It got a higher headshot multiplier, and the max damage cap was also increased. I think this is a noticeable buff to the Oni shotgun, but personally, it's still not my preferred shotgun. I like the Sentinel pump more still. It's just kind of a difference in playstyle between the two shotguns. I think if the fire rate was increased on the Oni shotgun a little bit, it'd probably be a decent amount better than how it is now. But I just feel weird using it. I feel like I shoot one shot and I'm kind of waiting for the second shot to be able to shoot again. It takes longer than I would like, but also like shooting and then swapping back to it. At that point, I'd rather just use the pump. But there are a lot of people that really like the Oni shotgun, and so it getting buffed is good for them. The auto shotgun yesterday got its reload speed increased by 8%. Not a huge change in terms of the lethality of the weapon, but a nice change in making the weapon more convenient to use. The Surge Fire SMG is a weapon that has a slower fire rate to start, and then its fire rate kind of ramps up over time. Yesterday, they improved that slow startup fire rate, so it starts shooting faster than it previously did. And I feel like this is somewhat noticeable, and it definitely made the weapon more enjoyable to use. For how I want to play, I still don't really want to use the Surge Fire SMG. I'd rather just use the Sentinel Pump and the Hollow Twister AR as my two guns, then heals and mobility. But if you are someone that wants to use an SMG, I think the buff to the Surge Fire SMG was actually pretty noticeable, and I found it to be a lot more enjoyable to use today than it was previously, even though I don't want to continue using it. I think it's pretty good. The Mythic Sentinel Pump yesterday got buffed to where it can now deal 200 damage in a single shot if you hit a perfect shot. This is the Mythic version only, which you'll get by defeating one of the Shogun bosses randomly. And then also the Void Mask was nerfed yesterday, so the ball now drops more when you throw it, so it can't travel as far. And then it also travels a little bit slower than it previously did. I think this change is not big at all. And playing the game today, after the update and playing for several hours, I don't think this change was very noticeable. Like the Void Mythic or the Void Mask is still an incredible mobility item and still one of the best mobility items in the game right now. And I think that the nerf yesterday didn't really change that. One other change in this update that I think is pretty good, or at least from my experience, this was improved, is that at the start of this season, if you took out the Typhoon Blade Katana, it would lower your frame rate on PC. I don't know why this was a thing. I think it was a bug with like the FOV changing with this item. But either way, every time I took out the Typhoon Blade, my frame rate would drop to 50 from 240. So it's a pretty noticeable change, and it felt very jarring. And I know a lot of other PC players who had this experience. That was seemingly fixed today. I was still dropping frames every time I took it out, but it seemed like I was dropping from 240 to 200. Which is still a drop, but it's not as jarring and it's not as noticeable. So that aspect of the Typhoon Blade being, fixed and improved, I think is a good thing. Just having an item make you lag when you take it out just felt very bad, especially with it being a mobility item. You need those to work and you need it to feel smooth. So I'm very happy that they patched that with the Typhoon Blade, and it definitely felt more convenient to use today than it previously did. But that is going to be it for this update. As I said earlier, I think it's probably pretty disappointing if you're only a BR player, but there will be content coming next week or soon for Winterfest, so that is good. It's just like this update added stuff for the other modes and then stuff to come later for BR. There wasn't that many changes for BR right now, but let me know what you guys think of this down in the comments below. As always, if you did find this to be informative, helpful, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.